Alright, so I have the same UI that I built in a previous video. Very simple. We just have a VBox container and then we're instancing in some buttons that are connected to a switch, and all this is instanced and connected through code. So this time I did it in C#, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about that code now. So going into our script here, when we're using C#, you have to define what libraries you're using. These were auto-generated by Godot. When you create a new C# script, all you have to do is, instead of GD script up here, you select C#, you give it a name. We'll just put some gibberish in here. We hit create, and we get taken to it. So this stuff is all auto-generated for you. And then this is how you would call classes like process. You can see you have to use the override keyword. The public keyword lets it know that it's available in this class, and the void just says it's not returning anything. So here's your ready function, and then here's your override, your process function. And then you could also do, physics process and all your other favorite little functions that we all love from Godot. Up here, the public class is just the name of the script here, and then we have the type of node that it is. So this is the same as seeing like extends kinematic body 2D, and then this, everything within the brackets is everything within that script essentially. And then your functions go in there, and then you can also declare variables like onReady variables up here. So now I'll jump right into my script that's actually creating this UI that we have. Just to give a reminder of what it does. So we have some connections made through here. So first thing we're doing is creating an array here. We say private to let it know that it's only in use in this class. String is just declaring what type of variable we're making an array of. My array is the name of the array, and then this symbol here is just, well, these square brackets are just simplifying that it is an array and not just a regular string. And then we use the curly brackets to actually add our input in, and what is that called? A semicolon to end it. And this could all be put on one line. I just decided to do it this way because it looks better to me. So then we have our ready function down here, and we are getting our audio here because we need it to play the sound. So the way we get that is by using get node, and you'll see that this is capitalized different than how we would do it with GD script. With GD script it would just be like this, get node, and then we could put in like 0 here or whatever the node path is. So we're basically doing the same thing here, except we have to tell get node what we're trying to get. So we're telling it create a new audio stream player. Well, not create that, but we're making a variable that is the type of an audio stream player named audio, and we're setting that value equal to get the node, which is an audio stream player from the node path audio, which is right here. So, and then you end it with a semicolon, and that's just how you get a node with C#. And you can see we also get the VBox that way, and then we're just adding in the node path here. So that's pretty similar. It's just that you have to declare a lot more stuff in what you're getting. Alright, so then we come down here to the ForEach loop, and that's basically the same as a for loop, and it's just going to iterate through our array, and we have to tell it what type of items to expect in the array. So right now they're all strings, so we say string item, and then this is how we can do a print statement with C#. We just say GD, so that accesses a Godot function, print, and then item. And then most things in GD script are like that, lowercase, but we're going to use snake case when we use C#, and there's a section on Godot's website about that. So that's just a print statement, and always end with a semicolon. And the for each loop has to have brackets, and that's just the end of the bracket down there, same as any other loop. So then we're creating a color rect here with the name of div holder, but since it's not dynamically typed, we have to statically tell it what it's going to be, and then we instance it by saying new color rect, calling that class, and then end with a semicolon. We then do the same thing with color, And it's the same syntax to create a color here, except I have to add these Fs to explicitly tell the C# that this is a float and not a double, otherwise it'll cause issues. And then here we have our color rect, which is div holder, and we want to change the frame color on it just to change the color of it. So in GD script we would do it like this with set frame color and then just pass in the color. And we're essentially doing the same thing here, except we have to use call, and then we call whatever function, in this case set frame color, on the node that we're trying to access. And then we pass in our arguments here, and so we're passing in that color we've already created up there. So this is the same thing we're doing here with the vector2, and then we're just passing that to the property rect min size. So instead of calling a function to set the variable like we did up here, instead we are accessing the property directly, and with GD script that would look like this, but with C# it looks more like this, and we're just setting it equal to this vector2 right there. Going further down, we're just creating our button here that we're going to place into our holder, and we're setting the textures on our button here. So again, this is just like the property. It would look like this in GD script, but since we're using C#, that's just not going to fly. So I'll go ahead and comment that out. And what we have to do is we're setting it equal to a texture that we're loading in. So we say GD to say we're using a Godot function, and then load is the function we're trying to use. So that's kind of similar to saying load and then file path in GD script, except we have to explicitly tell the loader explicitly what type of resource we're trying to load. So this is a Godot resource, and you can find those by going here and going to resource, bring that up. All these are resources. We can find texture right here. So if you're looking for what to put in there, you can find them there. And so we do that for each one of these textures down here, the blue, red, and yellow. This right here is just positioning. We're just moving the button within its holder. And again, we're accessing the property just using the snake case rect position instead of rect position like that. And we're setting it equal to our vector2. And then the next thing we're doing is connecting a node to a signal through script, and we're connecting it to the pressed on our button. So whenever our button is pressed, this is going to trigger. So instead of passing in self like you would with GD script, we pass in this, which is pretty common in a lot of languages. If you're only used to GD script, this might be kind of new, but this really is just referencing itself. And then play sound is the name of the function we're trying to activate. So I have that down here, play sound, and you can see we're passing in some arguments. So we have to pass in an array of arguments, because that's how this function connect works. So we can't just pass in an array like this, because it won't know what to do with it. We have to pass in an array by saying new godot.collections.array, and then you can see we're using curly braces. And we're passing in the item, which is the current button we're on, which is just a string. And then audio is just a reference to our audio stream player up here. So let me comment this out. We pass those into our function down here, and we have to declare what we're passing in. So it knows we're passing in a string and an audio stream player. And then I'm just printing out the string and playing the sound. Continuing down, we just have another label that we're creating. We're setting the text equal to whatever button we're on, and then we're using the call again to set some properties on the node, and then we can also use the properties directly just by setting them equal to stuff. So we do that. We set our texture alongside, we set our icon, and then to add everything to the frame, we add our icon and our text to our button. We then take our button and add it to our div holder, and then we take the div holder and add it to our VBox. So that looks just like this. And this project is up on my GitHub along with the Godot version, the GD script version, if you're interested in that. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day.